you succeeded. Your secret meetings, you're almost James Bond.
No, I don't like that. I'm not James Bond.
It's a bit James Bond.
No, we never killed the Queen of Hearts. No.
Okay, no violence. There were no car chases. There were no guns. Okay.
No.
Welcome to the Canadian Cycling Magazine podcast. I'm Matthew Piaro, and with me is Matt Hansen. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you for having me once again.
Once again, it's a pleasure to chat with you.
My streak.
It's not bad. I mean, it's not unbroken, but it's a good one.
Yeah.
In this episode, I get into the story of intrigue and secrecy. All the behind-the-scenes work that went into getting mountain biking into the 96 Games at Atlanta. I do so with one person who is at the center of it all, a man from northern Quebec. He often jokes that he's from the North Pole, and his name is Marc Lemay, and he's my guest on today's episode, and he is quite a storyteller, and I can't wait for him to get into that great story. But before my conversation with Marc Lemay, Matt, we have just a little bit of racing to catch up on. We'll just briefly touch on some stuff.
A couple little races.
Yeah. Let's start with the Giro d'Italia women. It recently wrapped up just before we started recording, and Lisa Longo Borghini won it. She's had a great year. She's also won Tour of Flanders this year and Brabant's Appeal. And there's a Canadian element to this race.
Yeah, Claire Amond had a fantastic ride, taking the stage and then wearing the blue jersey for best climber for almost until the end. It was a bummer. She had to quit, I guess because the heat was just so bad. But, a tremendous ride for her. I mean, it's just one more Canadian that's just excelling at Grand Tours. So it's fantastic.
Yeah. Clara Amond from EF Education Cannondale. She's from...
Oh, you said it wrong. Remember, it's Oatly.
Right, there's an Oatly in there now?
And it's not EF Education, it's just EF Oatly Cannondale. That's what it is.
Okay, thank you for the real-time fact check, Matt Hansen.
Just trying to help.
You are. But she's from Saint-Ferréol-les-Neiges, and that's northeast of Quebec City, near Mont-Saint-Anne. And that's exciting. An exciting win for her. She will be in the magazine, the upcoming issue of the magazine. And by that, I mean not the ones that just went on stands now, but the one following that. Magazine time. It's the future. You know that.
Is it?
It really is. But the present, the Tour de France is still going on.
It's been a boring race this year. Very boring.
Really?
Really? Just real snooze fest.
You know what has kept it from being a snooze fest? The fact that
everything, every day.
But what I like is there has been some drama. There's the stage win by Jonas Vingegaard, and that planted the seed of maybe Pogačar is not supremely dominant this year. Maybe there is, maybe he can be taken down. I mean, that those questions were answered just not too much long later when, Pogačar got a few victories.
He said, hold my beer, hold my Carlsberg, take my Tuborg, you're going to need it. And even stuff like Cavendish finishing barely in the time limit, that kind of stuff. Cycling's always with the winners and the losers, and he almost lost big time. It was amazing to see him finish barely.
Mm-hmm. That is always a story, seeing those riders hanging on by their fingernails, just trying to make the time cuts on the mountain stages, those who aren't climbers. So there's drama from, when the first rider crosses the line. I mean, maybe you got some waiting to do, sometimes up to 40, 50 minutes before the last guys roll in. But yes, there's always a story.
Yeah, but he looked wrecked. I mean, he was coming in, he was on his drops coming to the finish, and he's just like, he was just grim death.
One story or feature in the Tour that is worrisome is the return of COVID. Many riders are already out at the time of recording. Tom Pidcock, Michael Morco, Juan Ayuso. And remember, Pogačar had COVID before the Tour. He was lucky enough to get it out of the way before the event. Sepp Kuss couldn't start because of it. And not only is that worrisome for the tour itself, but I'm actually concerned about the Paris Olympics. If there's an uptick in infections, in COVID cases, then yeah, it could be very concerning for athletes headed to Paris.
Although strangely, I mean, I don't know if you know the latest variant with the immunity, but let's say that there's some sort of immunity for a while. But at least the guys in the tour, presuming they can recover in time for the Olympics, which is around the corner, at least they can rest assured they won't get sick again. Much like Pogacar, he's, at least for now, hopefully, immune, I think, for the rest of the tour. But I mean, who knows anymore? It's just one more thing to worry about. I think being a pro cyclist and racing every day and trying not to crash in a descent and trying to survive, do all these things, get a good night's sleep, fuel, et cetera, et cetera. And now you got to worry about this too. It's just, just adds to the list of worries, like you said.
And with the case of the Olympics, you've got the cyclists arriving, all these other athletes from different disciplines arriving. They're in an athlete's village. It's just...
Yeah, I wonder if they'll actually make stricter protocols for the Olympics again. I mean, in light of this, I mean, they've been relaxing everything compared to the last time, the 2020 Olympics, the 2021 Olympics, but you know what I mean. But I wonder if they'll make changes given the uptick. But anyway, on verra.
You see teams like Visma Lease Bike just donning the N95 masks right away. They're not messing around. But I don't know.
Well, even on Sunday, the ASO announced that any journalist or guest now has to wear a mask if they're in contact with a rider, just for that reason, right? I mean, you don't want the repeat. Like Remco even said something like I don't want to go through that again, when he had to quit in the pink jersey. I mean, he said something about Geraint Thomas, who has COVID, but I guess it's very mild, although I wouldn't want to ride the Tour de France with COVID. I mean, I think the Tour de France is hard enough without anything. But he said, I hope he rides behind me. No, he doesn't
Did he really say that?
Loogie. Yeah. He's like, he better ride behind me. So in case he, makes a big snot rocket, it doesn't land in his mouth.
You say that, and it's funny and it's gross, and this is before COVID arrived. I remember being on a December ride, and I wonder if I might have told this story before, but a rider ahead of me just, laid a snot rocket into the cold December air, and I saw his atomized snot in a cloud ahead of me, and I could do nothing but ride it, and I got pneumonia 2 weeks later.
So you couldn't kind of matrix it and kind of slow down and move your head?
All right, so now that everybody is a little queasy, let's change the subject a little bit. I do want to talk a bit about our guest today. It's Marc Lemay. I first met Marc Lemay in 2015. I was actually at the Canadian Cycling Hall of Fame induction ceremony where a bunch of athletes, it was the first one, so a bunch of athletes like Steve Bauer, Kurt Harnett, Tanya Dubinnikov, Gord Singleton, they were all inducted. And there's this guy, Marc Lemay. I didn't really know who he was. He was, at the time, he was a former MP for the Bloc Québécois, but he's a lawyer. And I didn't really know his name. But Rob Jones over at Canadian Cyclist, our colleague over there at that website, he said to me, you should really talk to Marc. And I thought, okay, whatever. And I trust Rob Jones. He's been in cycling for a bajillion years, and I say that with all due respect. He's been reporting on cycling for many, many years. At the time, I had a microphone and a little video recorder. And most people, when you stick a microphone into their face, they speak into the mic, and then, I bring the mic back to me and I ask another question. But Marc was so comfortable with the mic, he started talking, and then it was so easy. He just sort of slipped the mic out of my hand and into his own, and he kept talking and talking.
That's bold. I love that. Just don't hand it over to me. It's okay. I got this. That's amazing.
Yeah. And he's such a good talker, very charming. So whatever. You got the mic, man. Go for it. Years later, I spoke to him again for a story in the magazine, and that's where I learned about how mountain biking became an Olympic discipline and his role in it, and just what a bonkers story it was with, and this is no joke, with secret meetings, with keeping things from different members of the UCI, especially certain countries who were most likely hostile to the idea of including mountain biking at the Olympics, and we'll get into that. So before Paris 2024, I wanted Marc to tell this story to listeners because it's a great one. And it's a great tale. So without any further ado, Here is my chat with Marc Lemay. Marc Lemay, welcome to the Canadian Cycling Magazine podcast.
Bonjour. Hi.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Hi.
Bonjour. Hi. As if we're in Montreal. Bonjour. Hi. A few years ago, you and I spoke for a story that I was writing for the magazine. You told me the tale of how mountain biking became an Olympic sport, and the story was fascinating. You were part of secret meetings, you were worried about the reactions from certain cycling nations. But before we get into that story of intrigue, I want to introduce you to listeners who might not recognize your name. You are currently the president of the UCI's arbitral board, and you are also a member of the UCI's disciplinary commission. But going back, you're a lawyer. You've been a politician here in Canada. From 2004 to 2011, you served as a Bloc Québécois member of parliament for the riding of Abitibi to Témiscamingue. Originally, you were born in the town of Amos in northern Quebec, and that area is a hotbed for cycling. It's been that way for many years. Can you tell me how you got into cycling?
Oh boy, okay. Do you have 1 hour? We're going to cut it.
The short version.
The short version. Okay. First of all, I'm a cyclist myself, but I rapidly discovered I never be the world champion, the Quebec champion, or the national champion. I was really interested by the organization. Honestly, I'm an organizer. I like to organize race. And at this time, I'm start step by step organizer in the cyclist club in Amos. I was the president. And at this time also, I was the technical director of the Tour Cycliste de l'Abitibi for junior. And now it's celebrate this year is 54 years consecutively presentation. And I was but truly be recognized by the Quebec Cycling Federation, and they invite me to be member of the board. And in I think it is 1980 or beginning of 81, I was elected president of the Quebec Cycling Federation. And in November 1981, I was elected president of the Canadian Cycling Association, representing Canada at the international level for develop and promote the cycling in Canada. And just small things. My first meeting at the international level, I arrived and I speak French. I speak English a little bit, but I speak French, and I was translator for the French Cycling Federation president and the USA Cycling president, who don't speak French. And the president of the French Cycling Federation said to me, after the meeting, it was a great pleasure to see you, but we probably not see you again, but good luck on you. I said, what? Mark, every year, Canada changed the president, and you don't have any stability, and this is why Canada is not very, very respected at the international level. But if you can continue, you can help the development of cycling. I said, Monsieur Président, don't worry, I'm there for 4 years. And beginning slowly but surely, following 1981, I was at the international level meeting, etc., slowly but surely. And I'm still president, organizer, technical director of the Tour de l'Abitibi. At this time, I don't know how I can practice my law job, but anyway, it's part of the game. I cross over Atlantic Ocean, I don't know how many times. Anyway.
That's funny because you have been a stable force in cycling from Canada for, this is getting close to, it's more than 40 years now.
Yeah, but it's what is important at the international level. If you need to obtain credibility, you're obliged to be present. And not present one time, and after that you go take a beer. You are obliged to be there not every month, but every year during the Congress of the UCI, the Congress of the Amateur Cycling Federation, and all the things. You are obliged to be there and present. Okay, this is where we are. I would like to be elected at the international level. and I be candidate for a member of the International Amateur Federation of Cycling in 1985. But I was defeated, and I discovered Europe control all the things at the international cycling. That's it. That's all.
I wanna get into Europe's control of cycling a little later, but I want to come back to North America and the rise of mountain biking. As you're coming up through cycling as an organizer, you're seeing mountain biking, this new sport. In the US, you're seeing the growth of NORBA, the National Off-Road Bicycle Association. What was your thinking about mountain biking as you saw it develop from its infancy?
I discover I cannot be at the international level elected if I still with a pro race, amateur race, road race, track, cyclocross. And slowly but surely, I discover a new sport, effectively. It's mountain bike. Mountain bike arrived from the USA, and they have a lot of fanatic guys in Durango, and around Durango and California. They are practicing the sport, and guys in Quebec, and this ends. It was so important. Is Patrice Drouin discovered the sport because at this time he's working at the Mont Saint Anne and etc. And he called me and he said, "Marc, did you know this sport?" I'm sorry, no. I see some image, I received some information about, but no. Hey, he said, "Okay, come in Mont Saint Anne," and I'm going to Mont Saint Anne, and I discover a sport, a possibility of I'm an organizer, and I said, "Wow!" And this is the time for America and the USA, Canada, to go at the international level with a new sport, a new event, a new kind of activities. But at the international level, they don't believe in the mountain bike at the first time. And we arrived. There are some people who said, it's a joke. It looks like the BMX. And they have some problem at the BMX. There are 3 international federations, da. Me, I said to the people, it's time for the UCI to keep the mountain bike before they create an international federation of mountain bike, who is going to be very difficult after to include that under the umbrella of the UCI. And this is, at this time, we start slowly but surely to develop and promote mountain bike.
Were you worried that mountain biking would just go off on its own outside the UCI? Why was it important for you to bring it into the UCI?
Yes, I was worried because if the European people are only interested by road race, by cyclocross, by track, they are not interested by this. I'm sorry, people who's going on the bush and then go to no. They are not interested. Prove us this is possible, and this is why slowly but surely we go in Europe from 1987 until 1990. I think, I don't know, I was in Europe every 6 weeks to work and prepare and promote. And in 1990, this is the first big date, and we create the first world championship of mountain bikes. And at this time, we are our own athletes, our own commissaire, own course, own sponsor. And we are totally independent of the UCI. We don't care. We organize that, and that's it. And the first one was in Durango in USA. After that, the second one is one in Italy in 1991, 1992 in Bromont, Canada, and 1993 we come back probably in this key points. It was in France, close to the border of Switzerland, the small ski station whose name Métabier. And this place is before and after. This is on me and the international level start in 1993. And at this time also, I'm coming back in 1993. In 1992, we begin to think about the possibility to be introduced under the umbrella of the UCI, bang, 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 yeah. It's possible, but, Okay, 1992. At this time, the president of the French Cycling Federation, it was Daniel Ball, and he believed on the sport. He said, Marc, go ahead. I'm going to support you in front of the UCI. If you are not elected, I don't care. I'm going to support you. But
so you had support of the French president, and I believe you also had the support of Hein Verbruggen, the UCI president. Now, this is a name a lot of people know, mostly because of the Lance Armstrong years, but people don't, I think, appreciate his influence on mountain biking. Mountain biking was important to Mr. Verbruggen, was it not?
Hein Verbruggen now is passed away, but I have a lot of respect for this guy. I'm not involved with the other things, but Hein Verbruggen was a marketing guy. It's him who developed and promote, the small chocolate bar Mars. Mars, it's him for the company, but he is also Netherlands president and of cycling, etc., and he is really interesting to promote cycling at international level. And at the same time, the president of the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, Mr. Samaranch, said in 1992, after the Barcelona Games, Sir, and he speak a lot of the federation meeting, sirs, and mesdames et messieurs, for the new Olympic Games, the new centennial in 2000, but before that, if it's possible, we need the best athletes in the world, including pro and amateur, because at this time it was separate, amateur and pro. And we want, Mr. Samaranch said to the federation, we need both. And at this time also, we need the new sport, the new venue who can help the IOC to promote sport for the kids at the international level also. Like, imagine on the mind of Mr. Verbruggen. At this time, we listened that. We had a meeting, Mr. Verbruggen speak to me and said, Marc, your sport is serious, yes or no? I said, mountain bike is really serious because we create a new sport with new bike, with new athletes, with new world championship, with sponsor. And at this time, we have Grundig. Grundig is a company of electronics in Germany who help us with a lot of $1 million to promote mountain bike around the world. In 1992, when after the meeting in Barcelona, Mr. Verbruggen called me and we meet together and said, how can we help the promotion of mountain bike? I said, to introduce that at the UCI to a new sport, and that's it, that's all. And we are athletes, we have both, we are ready. He said, okay, we discussed, and after that, under the umbrella of the UCI, because at this time, in 1992, beginning of 1993, UCI is controlling amateur and pro, and finish for the International Pro Cycling Federation, and finish to the International Amateur Cycling Federation. Only one is UCI. Both was, how you said that, to regroup.
Yeah, so both of those organizations, both the amateur and the pro federations, were put together. And as you said, I guess it was largely due to the Olympics becoming unified, not caring that these are amateur athletes or these are pro athletes.
Because they need to have the Bernard Hinault, all the best riders in the world to come to the Olympic program Olympic venue in 1996 in Atlanta. This is out of doubt. And it's the same for basketball. It's the same for all the sport. Hockey is an example, a very, very good example at the IOC. Okay, 1993 arrived. We have a meeting in Pan American Confederation of Cycling. Mountain bike now is under the umbrella of the UCI. Okay, and we had a meeting with the peoples and how can we work to introduce the mountain bike on the Olympic program. And my objective, honestly, it's for the year 2000. It was for the year 2000. We work on that because we know it's long, but suddenly we had a meeting in Cuba on the beach. We call that it. President Verbruggen asked me to come to walk in the beach. I said, okay, we go, no problem. Yes, it's not a joke. It's true.
You see me laughing, but I enjoy the story so much because we have this mysterious setting on the beach. Hein Verbruggen invites you, but also aren't there two guests that join you that you did not expect?
Yes. Okay. Don't forget, at this time, the cellular phone don't exist, huh?
That's right.
We cannot register that. We cannot. It's confidential. It's really confidential. And at this time, Mr. Verbruggen invite me and the president of the USA Cycling at this time, and we received the information. The organizer of the cycling events in Atlanta would like discuss with us. And this is why Mr. Verbruggen asked us to come to discuss, because probably, and I know Hein, I'm sure he know what's happened. Hein probably know what's going to be discussed. And the guy said, suddenly, he looked Mr. Verbruggen and said, Mr. Verbruggen, we cannot, in Atlanta, we have a lot of problem, actually, of transportation. And it's going to be crazy in 1996. Don't forget, we are in 1993. And we don't have any solution. We cannot build another highway. It's impossible. And we don't want to block for 5-6 hours highway for the team time trial. 50 miles on this way and 50 miles on the other way. It's totally impossible.
I'm going to pause you right there. I think we need to remind listeners why the organizer in Atlanta is blocking off the highway. And I think it's 50 kilometers one way and 50 kilometers the other way for this particular cycling event, which is not common at all anymore. This event that he was worried about is the 100-kilometer team time trial. Now, can you tell us a bit about that event, why it was important or what it was doing there?
It's important to say at this time, the team time trial is only for men. Secondly, all the peoples know. In 1993, we know who's going to win in 1996 because it was the same peoples in 1992, in 1988, in Seoul, Korea, because it's the same. It's France, Germany, Russia, or Italy. All the peoples know. It's and they block the road. And I respect the team time trial because the Tour de France maintained that, and the Tour d'Italie sometimes. No problem for me. It's not a problem. But for the organizer of the Olympic Committee in Atlanta, it was crazy. It's totally impossible. And this is now at this time, the guy said, we heard about a new sport was very popular in USA. It's mountain bike. Speak to me about mountain bike. Hey, now I understand why Mr. Verbruggen asked me to walk on the beach. Okay, because now the pressure is on my shoulders, no problem. I explained that it's a sport which is growing so fastly. Is present around the world in the 5 continents, is for men and women, and it's so popular, and etc. Okay. The guy said, if we invite you, I said, hey, it's the IOC who invite. He said, let me explain to you the game. The guys responsible for the cycling events in Atlanta. And for us, we are actually on the Olympic program revision for 1996, and we are obliged to have a meeting with the IOC September. We fix the program in September to the IOC meeting. Okay, we have few months to discuss and okay. And the guys asked me, where is the course? Can you organize that in Atlanta? I said, sir, I have some technician that can go there but we don't. He asked a question, a very interesting question. Do we are obliged to block some road? I said, no, it's off-road. This is why we call that mountain bike, but it's off-road. The guys begin to smile and said, oh boy, okay. And he looked, Mr. Verbruggen. Hi, Mr. Verbruggen. Do you think, Mr. President, this sport is ready? Heinz asked me the question, are you ready for 1996? I said, it's going to be a lot of work because we are in 1993. We are obliged to prepare something for the September 1993 for the IOC meeting. And I have a pair of two in my hand. We play poker now. We are a pair of two, but I have three aces. And I said, yes, I think we're going to be ready. And it's only less than 3 years, and I think no problem. And this is, at this time, the story, and it was interesting, but what's also very interesting, in 1993, the World Championship is close to the border of Switzerland. Exactly, and it's not me who fixed that, but it's exactly at the same time, same dates, on the IOC meeting. This is exactly 50 kilometers to the small mountain of Métallier in France. It's very close, no problem.
Okay, before we get to September of 93, I just want to make sure I fully understand. After years of having world championships since 1990, mountain biking has built its legitimacy. It is a proper sport. I mean, it's still not well known because, as you said, you have these two gentlemen from the USA who are like, do we have to close roads? And you have to explain to them, no, it's not on roads. But it still has sponsors, it has athletes, all like you said. This is now a legitimate sport. But it's still, you are still making a gamble. You're still having a secret meeting in Cuba and gambling on, is this legitimate sport ready for the Olympics? Is it ready for the big time? And you're thinking, before this meeting, you're thinking, well, maybe year 2000, it'll be ready. But no, 1996 is when it needs to be ready. And you're like, okay, I'm all in. Before we get to Métabier, which was, as you said, 50, 60 kilometers down the road from Lausanne, where the IOC headquarters are. Before we get there, you finish your meeting on the beach and you have a plan or you have this idea that you're going to get mountain biking at the Atlanta Games. What about France, Russia, Italy, and Germany, the big nations who are not only fans of the 100-kilometer team time trial, but also pretty big cycling nations? Are you guys trying to keep this a secret from them?
Oh, yes. We're obliged to be secret, sure. It's impossible to speak about that. We are 4 people on the beach. And me, I said, I'm obliged to speak with my technical director because it's not Marc Lemay who's going to be organized in Atlanta. We're obliged to have some teams who's going to go in Atlanta to check the course, to prepare the things. It's a lot of job, but quiet, nothing, silence, secret, nobody. And Heinz said, nobody prepare the minutes of this meeting today, and no minute circulation. It's going to be quiet silence during the next meeting of the UCI office. Nothing. And the only one contact with the Olympic organizer committee was myself, my technical director, and the organizer of the Olympic events in Atlanta. That's it. That's all. We go verbal report to Hein Verbruggen. Only verbal report. That's it. That's all. No meeting. No. Because probably because the power of the at the UCI, the member of the board is France, it's Italy, it's Germany, it's Russian that we're gonna be killed, and then they finish, and that's it. That's all, and then terminate. We don't have the sports. It's sure if we open our mouth, and it's be difficult for myself. But anyway, it's quiet, it's silence, it's secret, and that's it. That's all, and we prepare the job.
So what are you? So you're having meetings with the IOC at this time, just that small group of people, and what are you telling them about mountain biking, and how are you preparing the way?
No. I'm sorry. I don't have any meeting with the IOC. I have meeting only with the organizer committee of Atlanta. And it's Atlanta organizer committee who speak with the IOC. And this is why I said, okay, you speak to the IOC, be informed the president Verbruggen verbally, but not with official documentation and phone call from Mr. Samaranch. No. Because we explained it clearly, it's the Team Time Trial is controlling the UCI. That's it. And this is why this is at this time it was interesting because we prepare all the things, and with the organizer peoples and my technical director, Mr. Chris Payne, going a lot of time in Atlanta, and we invite officially, but with not paper. We speak with some people at the IOC office to invite the member of the IOC to come in Métabier during the September World Championships in Métabier. And what's the show?
Now, is it just luck? Was it pure luck that the World Championships were in Métabier, just down the road from Lausanne?
Oh, wait.
You didn't plan this.
No, we never planned that because we established 3 years ago, we established the Durango is the first. The second one is in Italy. The third one is in Canada. The fourth one is in France. It's a miracle. That's all. It's sure it's gonna be if we postpone that until the year 2000. It's because remember in the year 2000 it's the triathlon who arrived. I remember because the president of the triathlon is Les McDonald, a Vancouver guy, and I know him, and we fight together to say, hey, I'm gonna go in the Olympic program also. Yeah. Okay, good. But anyway, yeah. But at this time in Métabier, in France, in the border, in September 1993, before the meeting to fix finally the program of the Olympic venue for 1996, we received around, I don't know, 10, 14, I don't remember the number, but I remember some name, but they are coming in Métabier.
Members of the IOC are coming to Métabier.
A member of the IOC, a guy whose name, I think, Mr. Thomas Bach from Germany.
He was the future president of the IOC, but at the time it was Samaranch was the president.
Yes, sir. It's Samaranch, and after that it's Mr. Rogg, and after that it's now Mr. Thomas Bach. But also Gilbert Feli is the director of the program of the IOC Olympic Games. It's him who decide, and he walked the course with me. Because at this time I walk a lot and I like them to mount the mountain and go to the mountain and then go and explain what's happened and because I know mountain bike. I never practice a lot, but anyway, but I know. And I explained that. He said, wow, it's look like ski and it's look like it's interesting how the athletes, all the technical guys and women on that. And you have women also? Yes. And they don't have any technical support because at this time we don't have any technical support. This is why all the company who built mountain bikes they invest a lot of money on development, on research and development, to have good tire, good all the things. Anyway, with you, I don't want to make a story on that, but and they arrived there and they said, "Wow, it's interesting." But at this time, also in France, they are totally crazy about mountain bike. They arrived. It was around 50,000 people who walk the mountain, and it's incredible the sound who arrived from this mountain. It's it's I experienced that now, and I'm a little bit vibration.
Goosebumps.
Yes, and it's crazy. I never fixed that. It's not me who called the shot. It's the crazy development of mountain bike in Europe start in Métabier. This is why I said we have before Métabier France and after. After Métabier, it's crazy, an explosion. It's and we create a new license. The UCI receive a lot of money from the new because it's new riders. It's not the riders who pass from the track to the road, on the road to the track. No. It's new riders. A lot of people don't know Paola Pezzo. Who knows her? Well, wait a minute. It was crazy and interesting.
I imagine it's like I've experienced this at Mont Saint Anne when you're watching a race and you don't see the rider yet, but you know they're coming because you hear the cheers of people in the woods around the corner, and there's a sense of anticipation. So I imagine that's what was going on at Métabier and the energy that happens.
It's totally true what you said. It's incredible. I cannot describe that. And finally, the story, it's September 19. Okay, it was the banquet organized by the French Cycling Federation to the peoples who arrived for the mountain bike, and it was in the an hotel in Métabier and around. And suddenly I received a fax. I received a fax. Yes, a fax at the hotel confirming the new venue, a new sport in 1996 in Atlanta. It's going to be the mountain bike, and we withdraw the 100 team time trial. Ay. It's cost to me $500 of champagne, but I don't care. It's the big moment of my life. The celebration of this night. I received a phone call from around the world who said, "Congratulations, we're gonna be ready." The guy from Australia called me, and it was tomorrow. It's crazy. And now we're obliged to prepare the selection, the pre-selection, etc., etc.
So literally, champagne bottles were popping in Métabier after you received this fax from the IOC saying, yes, mountain biking is in. And you mentioned that what would be cut is the 100-kilometer team time trial. And I just want to note once more, as you did earlier, that was a men's only event. And now what's in its place is a men's and women's event, which is mountain biking.
Yes. And also, a team time trial is only 2 continents, possibly 3, but now mountain bike is in 5 continents. We have people from around the world, and now we are obliged to prepare the pre-selection and the selection, the athletes now, because it's a new sport, a new venue, and we don't have the right to lose. This is I don't have a good English expression, but it's loud and clear. We cannot miss that.
Right. You're going to make this happen no matter what.
Yeah, and it's so important. It's so important. And after that, imagine after the Olympics in 1996, it's crazy since this time.
So you succeeded. Your secret meetings. You're almost James Bond.
No, I don't like. I'm not James Bond.
It's a bit James Bond.
No, we never killed the Queen of Hearts. No.
Okay. No violence. There were no car chases. There were no guns.
No.
Okay, but you have these secret meetings, and which I just love that so much, as you can tell. But now, pardon my French, but you just pissed off France Italy, Russia. Like, what are you thinking about these countries? Germany? What's going to be the reaction? Are you afraid of the reaction?
The first reaction is the president of the French Cycling Federation who congratulated me and said discreetly, Marc, okay, we just saved a lot of money because the 100 team central cost a lot of euro. It's crazy. And we have a chance to win because they have very good riders in French at this time. The Italy. I said to the president, Italian, you don't know anything in mountain bike, but I said to Mr. Lumini, watch the ladies whose name Paola Pezzo. Remember her name. Go to watch her. So, what? And speak to me after, because your change of medals, you change a medal of probably gold. It's impossible, but the first gold medal at the mountain bike at the Olympic program in 1996. All the people remember her. It's Paola Pezzo. And I said to the same thing to the Germany. Okay, it was difficult for Germany, but anyway, but slowly but surely they create, and they have now the good riders. Netherlands, same thing. Netherlands, the same thing around the world, and they save a lot of money for team time trial.
Well, yeah, on the Netherlands, it was Bart Brenschens who won on the men's side. And actually, just to bring that story full circle, he's managing a team. And on that team now is Gunnar Holmgren. And Gunnar is going to the Olympics this year. So it's and of course, Alison Seidor was the silver medalist in Atlanta.
Julia Furtado, we can name a lot of riders who start the mountain bike. Miguel Martinez from France. I said to the president, hey, watch Miguel, watch Minimig. I call him, but me, I know all the athletes on mountain bike. I know the possibility for a lot of nations to be on the podium in the Olympic program more than the team time trial.
You have this success in Métavier, Champagne, everybody's happy, but you have 3 years to get this event going in Atlanta. What was that? What were things like after Métavier?
Technically, it's to have a course, to go in to see the course, to prepare the course, who respect the mountain bike and prepare, because it's going to be very warm and hot in Atlanta. All the people know that at this time of the year, it's so hot. But at the International Federation for the UCI, it's to promote mountain bike around the world. It's not very difficult. And also to prepare and promote the selection, to invite the peoples to come at the because at this time we have a lot of World Cups, and it's to invite to discover some athletes. We discovered Australian peoples who arrive, and wow, Cat Elements, he arrive, and we discover the people from New Zealand, the people from Japan, and they invite and promote the peoples to come, and we establish the selection following the results of the World Cups. But what is so important, it's to have the same number of women, then we have the same number of men for the Olympic program. For us, it's equality. That's it. That's all. Sometimes it's difficult to discuss that with the UCI, some people, but anyway, we are doing that, and we established for the purse the same at the World Cups, and this is not men at first, and after that, if we have space and time, we have women. No, it's the same. It's the same, and this is why on the Olympic Games in 1996 we start with the women in the morning and the men in the afternoon, and this is it was a great show. It was a great show.
I just want to pick up on something you mentioned. Was there resistance, or was the IOC like not always making sure things were equal?
It's not IOC, it's the UCI.
Oh, sorry, the UCI.
Because some people at the UCI, how can I say that diplomatically?
I don't know. You're the politician.
Yeah, this is why I said it. Okay, some people think I'm in 1993, 1996. At this time, well, it's not the place for women to have a race. It's not. It's why we have. Yeah, okay, if we have time, we're gonna organize that, and it's after how many years do you have a Giro d'Italia for women and the Tour de France for women? It's so far, it's long, it's difficult, but us immediately, immediately when we organize the mountain bike is man and woman. That's it. That's all. Man and woman elite, man and woman junior, all the times. On my mind, it's all the time equality.
Right. So just maybe to expand on your diplomacy, I imagine there were people at the UCI who were, let's say, of a different generation, of a different time, and not with very modern views about.
I like that. You are very diplomatic, man. I think it's important for you to be candidate at the international level. I think, Matthew, it's gonna be interesting. Oh boy.
We'll see about my career in the federation level. Not yet, maybe. Actually, on the idea of politics and diplomacy, you, as I mentioned at the beginning, or close to the beginning, you were a member of parliament for about 7 years. Which is harder, working in the world of cycling federations or working within the Canadian government?
Oof. It's sometimes difficult. Me, at this time, when I was elected member of parliament at Ottawa, we are only, how can I say that? It's not a full government, it's, c'est
a minority government?
Thank you. I was elected in 2004 until 2011, and it's only minority government. It's so difficult. Sometimes you're obliged to be all the time at this place. At the international level, the advantage, I had the chance to know a lot of people from the ground to the top. And I had this chance. I don't have this chance at the federal government. It's my party, that's it. And I know all the people, Mr. Duceppe and all the people. I see Mr. Poilievre, I see Mr. But I never had the chance to speak a lot. But at the international level, until 2001, because it was my last time at the international level at the UCI. But I can say to you, it's more people more power you have. And the advantage I have also, I speak English, French, listen Italian a little bit, and Spanish. And me, I don't have any translator to speak with the guys from USA or the Australian or Germany. They speak English, no problem. And I can speak and said, okay, and I speak with the Switzerland French people or Belgium, and it's not a problem, Luxembourg. And this is why at this time I can make a phone call to send to the president of Belgium, hey, Mr. Debacker, hey, I would like to speak with you about this small problem we have in Belgium. Okay, well, okay. Are you coming in France? Yes, okay. But this is the same in the sport. Is that it's not a change a lot because I would like have the iPhone of Mr. Thomas Bach to know all the people know. It's incredible, and it's around the world. And in UCI, it's not a very at this time. I speak 1990 to 19 in. Year 2001, it's not a very, very strong federation. It's not very, they don't have a lot of direction. They have a lot of very big events. Tour de France, Giro d'Italia, Vuelta a España, and the World Cup. It's a lot of events. But UCI is 3 people at this time who works at the office. Now it's a lot, but I remember in 1990 there are 2 people, Mr. Jekyll and Madame Raymond. That's it. No, it's true. It's Han Verbruggen create the modernization or the of the UCI. We built a building in Aigle, close to Lausanne, and the building of the office of the UCI. Now, wow. They have, I think, around 170 people who work there. It's a lot. And honestly, at this time, it's the UCI who control today the sport. A few years ago, It was some organizers who control the UCI. It's totally different. Since Mr. Verbruggen, it's totally different. Oh, yes. Wow.
Interesting. A lot has changed, not only like from the early 90s in terms of mountain biking, but you're right, the modernization of the sport, the professionalization of the organizations, and it's quite different. And I guess we've also seen that. We also saw that with soccer, like from the 1990 Euro Cup from the 1990 World Cup to today's level of professionalization and globalization and commercialization.
It's I think if I put one name in the top, it's Monsieur Juan Antonio Samaranch, who in 1992 said to all the federations, we need the best athletes for the Olympic program. Finish amateur and pro. We need the best. Now, this is why we said at the Olympic venue, we have the elite peoples. Juan Antonio Samaranch play a lot of important role to reunify amateur and pro under the umbrella of the IOC, who said, elite, we need all the elite. An example, I said a few minutes ago, the hockey, it's the best example. The National Hockey League don't want to know anything about the Olympic games of the hockey and the Olympic games. We don't care about it. Now, wow.
Well, fans want to see those athletes at the Olympics.
No, it's important. Change a lot. Me, I'm arriving at the time I had the chance to see this evolution, this changing, this mind changing at the international level.
It was a very important time, which is why we're speaking today, to let listeners know about it. I have one more question for you. Will you be watching the mountain bike cross-country races in Paris this summer?
Oh, sure. I'm going to watch, sure. Hey, do you have another question? It's sure.
Well, I do. How do you feel when you watch those? What is your feeling to see, even after all these years, to see riders lining up for cross-country races at the Olympics?
At the Olympics, for me, it's the same moment that I remember the August 1996. It's I know we make story, we make we create, we introduce a new sport. It's incredible, and this is the same for the Olympics. When I see in Athens a ladies from Canada who's going to win the silver medal,
Marie-Hélène Prémont.
Marie-Hélène, and the game is not finished before they begin. We don't know who's going to win in Paris. Oh, I would like to speak with the people who said, okay, we have some riders. I know they are stronger than the other one, but who knows? And the road, we know the road, it's not complicated. We start with a breakaway in the beginning. We have 21 laps. We have a breakaway of 11 laps. And after that, the real good riders go in front and said, okay, now we're going to win, we're going to run. But in mountain bike, the circuit is so difficult. In Paris, it's going to be woof, woof, woof. And the starting line, I cannot say who's going to win. But I'm going to watch, sure.
For sure. We'll all be watching. And Marc, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for your storytelling and for helping us all understand how the sport that we enjoy watching came to be at the Olympics. Thank you so much.
Merci. Thank you very much.
And that's the episode. It is written and edited by me, Matthew Piaro. I had help from Matt Hansen. Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
I also had help from mountain bike editor Terry McCall. This episode of the Canadian Cycling Magazine podcast is produced by Adam Killick, and he also does the music. Special thanks also goes to Ontario Creates. I hear you did a Grand Fondo there, Matt. You tired?
I'm not as tired as when we went riding last weekend with Andre,
I know. That was another big ride. Yeah, you showed us your old stomping grounds. That was really cool. I was happy to ride on some new roads.
Yeah, and some of those steep climbs, or no, only one really steep climb.
Oh, that was a doozy. I'd never seen that one before.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, it's not a mountain, but for around here, it's pretty tough.
Yeah, no, that was great. Okay, so, but still, I love your preparation for your Gran Fondo.
Oh, my brother's Strava challenge the day before, that was pretty dumb, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm no sports scientist. I'm no coach, but hammering it for, what was it, half an hour?
Something like that. Well, my brothers and I do these dumb challenges where we'll go out and do some Strava section. We don't really care about everyone else, but we'll just challenge each other. And of course, I had to immediately break that. But then the next morning I was like, oh, I'm kind of tired now. It's dumb. And like even after I did the ride, I was like, wow, it was hot. And I felt, I don't feel very good. And I was like elevating my legs. And I was like, I think I might have forgotten that I'm not 20.
Your powers of recovery are not what they once were.
Yeah, that was a big mistake.
Anyway. I mean, did you capture the Strava segment? Did you best your brother?
I mean, amongst my brothers, I did. That's all that really matters.
I guess that is the victory. And the Gran Fondo, you weren't going to win that.
Yeah, no one wins a Gran Fondo. Well, it was fun, though. I think I've only done one before in Italy. But yeah, it's fun. There's great food and, some cool roads. So that was fun.
Nice. You're winning at summer there, Matt. Nice.
Yeah, no, it was organized by Italians too, so the food was especially great.
Boy. All right. Well, everyone, thank you for listening. Ride safely, and we'll talk to you later.